Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Chris Connects Live. I am Chris Schwegel, the founder and CEO of Chris Connects. We're going to be talking about 2022, the year that was, and look forward to 2023 and pretend that we have some sort of crystal ball that we can look into. 2022, just spoiler alert here, was a real year of failing forward for me. For instance, creating a live event and then forgetting to press the button that says go live. What are you going to do? I mean, we're all learning here, right? So don't take yourselves too seriously. Have a little grace for yourself. So, where were we a year ago? The world was much, much different. So I think right about a year ago is when maybe COVID was starting to not be the boogeyman anymore, and pretty much every government restriction was done. People were moving about freely if they chose not to, and so we were kind of coming out of COVID. There was some rumblings of inflation. There was some rumblings of recession and all that kind of stuff at the beginning of 2022. And that certainly has changed quite a bit. Interest rates at this time last year were just pushing fours. And that seems incredible right now, considering that we're probably in the sixes or sevens. I've even seen eights for interest rates. So that's quite amazing. People continue to be strong and be resilient. People are continuing to move to places that are affordable and places where they want to work. The work from home is really here to stay, it seems like. As much as we hear about in the news about big companies wanting people to go back to the office, stats are out there saying that, more and more companies are opting for a hybrid or totally remote. And so people are moving and taking advantage of that. And we have to, as real estate investors, you know, be in touch with those kinds of stats and trends and where people are moving. Speaking of real estate, this time last year, I had the problem of working on a 1031 exchange. This is in my personal portfolio. I was working on getting rid of a small multifamily property here and buying some new build to rent properties down in Florida, and got through that okay. And that's all good. And what's funny is we're building some properties down in there, and here we are a year later, still working on building those properties. There's a whole lot that's been going down there. Everyone's moving there, and construction is a bit slow. So we're waiting on that. Very, very pleased that we got locked in on some low rates, especially compared to nowadays. It really has flipped from, real estate where the property is the asset to that debt is that asset. Having low interest rate debt, quite amazing in this world. I think 2022 is probably that tipping point where we go from, hey, everyone's making money. If you just are anybody doing anything in real estate, just buy something, you're going to make a ton of money, to a transformation here where you'll need to have more seasoning. You'll need to be with more experienced investors who are, well versed in seller carrybacks or, creative financing. Things like that are going to be the wave of the future. And that's started to happen here in 2022. Most operators I know are doing multiple offers. Here's my all cash offer. Here's my offer if I can, assume your mortgage. And here's my offer if you're going to carry back some of the note. I think all that stuff's going to continue to progress in 2023. It's kind of exciting because it's pretty fun. We haven't been in a market like this in a long time. So that's pretty cool. In 2022, the big news for me personally is that Chris Connects was founded. I became the CEO and founded this company with the intention of helping people like myself who don't make a whole lot of money, who are social workers, nurses, doctors, engineers, police officers, firefighters, essential workers, have a little taste of passive income. People have been following me for a bit and asking me how, a little old poor social worker managed to create a portfolio of real estate investments. And so I just kind of decided to come out of the woodwork a bit and try to help people do that. Not everybody wants to go through the experience and gain the stately wisdom that I've learned through the school of hard knocks, I guess, over the past 9, 10 years of investing. Some people would rather just skip all of that, and invest in private placements in real estate and achieve passive income right away. Hey, hats off to you. That's awesome. That's incredible. And so it's become my mission here in 2022 to empower and improve the financial health of 1 million essential workers. In 2022, I did a huge market analysis. Looked at maybe 200 markets across the United States over a month or two span, and then went and visited a few of them and narrowed it down to Omaha, Cincinnati, San Antonio, and Tampa. I think it's no secret that Tampa is the market that I'm really interested in. There's a ton of people moving there. It's still quite affordable. There's more people renting there than the national average. The state of Florida is putting a ton of money into Midtown and downtown Tampa. St. Pete has seen a whole bunch of people going there. And I think that kind of corridor from Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Sarasota, Brandon up to Tampa, I think is just going to grow into one big kind of mega city here in the next 10, 15 years. So I really do see a whole lot of reason for optimism and upside with that market. Personally, out of those four markets that I ended up, as the finalist, why'd I choose Tampa? Well, Tampa has beaches. Tampa's fun to visit. It's fun to have a little business and pleasure mixed in there. I've got family there, so I can go visit them whenever I'm doing some business, and that's awesome. And there's direct flights from Minneapolis to Tampa. I can get there in 3 hours if I wanted to, and that's great. None of the other markets offer that. So I look forward to 2023. Keep an eye out. I might have some investment opportunities if people are interested. Speaking of 2023, I've got a chapter, not a book, but a chapter of a book coming out in January. I'm excited about this. This is kind of interesting. So I was invited to be in a book called Next Level Your Life. And so I had no idea if I had a story to write. I had no idea if anyone was going to be interested or if I had any sort of talent in writing at all. And so I figured, why not go for it? And I'm excited. I'm pleased with how it's ended up, and comes out in maybe a month. And so I'm excited to share that with the world. And I've got to admit, since it's just me here talking, I feel incredibly vulnerable and raw, like having part of my life that's very personal to me out into the world. And so I don't quite know how that's going to go or how I'm going to react to that. But 2022 has been a year of coming out of the woodwork for me, learning about my messaging and how my story may be used to help other people. And that's just going to continue. I think everything that I've achieved over the past few years, especially with investing, but thinking of all the aspects of my life, the blessings that I've had have been really when I kind of get over my skis a little bit and get in over my head and then kind of figure it out. Playing it safe works out for me at times, but really when I grow is when I try something totally new. And so that's kind of what that book does for me, is makes me put part of my life in print forever. And so excited to share that with people and see what you think about that. Also, early 2023, I'm looking to start a investor mentoring club. Partner of mine and I in town here, we are going to start mentoring some local people with investing and start teaching macroeconomics, microeconomics, how to study markets, kind of what's happening, and how you can help yourself and your investors, in this changing environment. So I look forward to starting that. That'll be in the first quarter with my bud Ben. Um, and then, like I said before, looking forward to having some offerings for the marketplace. I hope we can do some good in the world. Speaking of which, I'm trying to put together a community of essential workers who are looking to boost their financial health. It's my mission to improve the lives of 1 million community helpers out there. So if you are a nurse or a doctor, if you are a social worker, you're a therapist, you work at a school, you drive a bus, you are a firefighter, a city worker, I want to build a community that helps you out. And if there's anyone out there who wants to be a part of it, hey, I encourage you to reach out and connect. I'm happy to connect with you. We can figure out a talent that you want to grow. You'll be fully embraced in the community and welcomed. And I just encourage you to reach out because I think we're building something that's pretty cool here. So you can find me at chrisconnects.co or chris@chrisconnects.co. I am Chris, if you missed that. So, with that, I will bid you guys adieu, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 1 for another live session. That's another thing I want to start here in 2023 is just some more live stuff. I think it's kind of fun and exciting. Just let the hair down a little bit, but I might have let my hair down a bit too much maybe 20 years ago, but we'll talk about that another time. So, hey, I wish you well and take care. All the best to you.